Last question, Rick, and it's something we've discussed before. We'll discuss it again, and I think we'll discuss it until the cows come home.
Waiting for those cows to come home.
They're on the way home. Just going past T-Bay now, so it won't be too long.
Nice.
Anyway, it's from John Carr. I think it is the John Carr, who's been a very regular sniff for a long, long time. And it's a question that, and it's not, I'm not annoyed at him for asking it, but I get a bit annoyed about this. And it says, it's very simple, we've said it before, but is golf getting too expensive? Now, I don't know what your take is, Rick, but I'm definitely in the camp of no.
I bought a packet of tea pegs the other day, and I couldn't believe the price. But I bought them at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh, yes.
And I think that summarises golf in a nutshell. You can pay a lot of money for golf equipment. You can. If you go about your ways correctly and, you know, there was 25 tees in this bag for £2.50. Nearly had a heart attack, okay? I could probably buy 5,000 tees for a tenner off eBay.
Well, I'm just looking straight, not quite that value, but even here, these are bamboo, which is no Madeira. There's a jumbo bag of 1,000 for 25 quid on Amazon. So I'm sure you can get obviously much, much cheaper than that, but that just kind of shows that kind of scale.
Cost per tee is cheap. And it goes into anything with the golf equipment. Hopefully you all enjoyed the Costco Drive review I did the other day. Costco Drive was £190. Go to Costco, you can pick one up. Obviously, it's not got the fitting properties, but that was an unbelievable driver for the price. We've also shown you on this channel where you can even buy even lesser price clubs than that. Like you can buy a package set for £250, or you can go to Golf Bidder and pick up some second-hand equipment for very, very reasonable costs. I would say where costs have potentially increased, I think green fees have potentially gone up. Mm-hmm. Would that be fair to say?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I think practice facilities have gone up in cost. Certainly good ones. But I feel like they're offering more of a service now. Certainly practice facilities, whether it's a driving range, they've got top tracer technology or other technology on the driving range. Like they're offering a bit more. Golf courses, I think because of the demand of golf at the moment, or certainly over the last couple of years, the green fee price has gone up. Potentially membership has gone up a little bit as well because of that, again, that drive and that demand. That is frustrating on that standpoint, but that is business. If there's more people going to facilities, naturally there's obviously businesses, they've got to try and make more money. They go, well, hold on, if we're getting more people, let's ramp the price up and hopefully make more pound per buck.
Yeah, I have mixed views on this, and I think it's why it somewhat annoys me, because I understand it, and if you are a golf fanatic, and typically people that listen to this podcast week in, week out, obviously really enjoy the golf and spend a lot of the free time playing golf, and I think when that is the case, naturally, not everybody, but naturally you become more into gear. You know, if someone that plays once every year, maybe for a corporate do or something, might have a set of clubs that they got given by their uncle or their granddad that are rusty, and they don't care because they use them once a year. If you play twice a week or 3 times a week, there's typically a correlation. The more you play, not always the case, I must admit, but typically, and certainly with our listeners, the more you play, the more bothered you are about gear. And when you're more bothered about gear, you often like the latest, the greatest, the shiny new things. And if you look at golf clubs now, from the big brands versus where they were a number of years ago, certainly in like the irons and even putters, they have gone up a massive amount. And if you look now, I'm just having a quick look at like American golf, even like a set of TaylorMade QI 10 irons, which are kind of a game improvement iron. If you want those 5 to gap wedge, you're looking at £1,000. Now that is a lot of money. Yes. I remember only about 6 years ago when a set of forged irons, and these aren't forged by the way, the QI 10, you look at like $599, $699. So I know we've had inflation and all that kind of stuff, and without getting too kind of mathematical, it definitely does feel a lot more expensive. And you look at golf balls, you look at gloves, you look at golf shoes now. You can get very expensive golf shoes, and it also really kind of, it's what you're looking at as well and how expensive you want it to be. So you can see Nike have got a Jordan golf bag. I've seen it a few times on the Nike golf website, and I'm sure it's like 400 quid for a Jordan golf bag. Now, obviously, that is ludicrous, and you'd only be buying that if you are literally wanting a Jordan golf bag. It doesn't mean that golf has to always be expensive. You can go onto Amazon, you can go onto Sports Direct, you can buy all right golf. I mean, here, there's a Jordan golf club for 50 quid. and there's a Jordan golf bag for 460 quid. Now, in isolation, you could post those on Twitter as a picture and say, look at golf, it's ludicrously expensive, and people would engage with it and they'd say, I agree. But you can get cheaper stuff, and you can get decent second-hand stuff from Golf Bidder, etc., from Facebook Marketplace that still will get you out there. And I think it's only really, for me, the people who want the latest and greatest that naturally get affected by it so much. If you took up golf today and you wanted to get something just to get you around a golf course, you could buy a package set for 100 quid max. You could buy lake balls. You could go to your local muni. And I mean, looking now on like tee off times or play more golf or whatever, you can go and play golf courses that are half decent for relatively cheap. But equally, you could go and play at some very exclusive golf courses and pay literally hundreds of pounds, which again, I think is why we have this thing in our head that golf is expensive. I think it does frustrate me that people perceive it as that, only because it's going to naturally put people off starting the game because you see it as being expensive. If you look at a lot of the golf shoes now, I'm sorry I'm ranting, but a lot of the golf shoes now, and you can even use Echo in this discussion as well, make a lot of on-course, off-course shoes. And yes, they're better than a trainer because they're waterproof, but they're still breathable, etc. But ultimately, they're not a million miles off a trainer. So if you turn up at a golf course in a trainer and a pair of just black pants and a second-hand set or a package set, you can go and play golf. Yeah,
you're absolutely spot on. I think what is quite interesting as well is like, I was just looking at a few online only brands as well. I'm not going to drop any names, but like golf equipment you can buy online only. The price there reflects what major brands were 5 or 6 years ago. So you can still pick up reasonably priced irons, golf equipment, etc.
But even you're right. But even that, and to your point though about what you can pick up, when we've done videos or whatever, we've used some of like your fans, and an example of this would be when we did the first golfer to make a birdie wins 10 grand.
Yeah.
Ironically, that was obviously a lot of money. But we had 4 golfers come who were big fans of the channel, who love the golf, right? And I was looking at their gear, and most of them had the kind of latest and greatest. Think about it. If you are that much into your golf, you buy a motor caddy or a power caddy, whatever, 500 quid. You then might buy a bag that is better suited to an electric trolley that's a couple hundred quid. Then you even have to pick up a laser or a GPS watch. Then you might have a Scotty Cameron or even an Odyssey putter and your wedges, your irons, your drive, your 3-wood. Then they've got Galvin Green waterproofs. They've got FootJoy golf shoes. Then they've got a pair of spiked golf shoes they wear. Then they've got the Mac Wets or whatever, the waterproof gloves. Like, it can get ridiculous and you wonder how people afford it. But that is because they aspire to have that stuff and they've found a way to afford it. But again, that doesn't mean everybody has to have that. And I think that's just the difference. It's like what you want and what you need are two very different things. Like gas prices and food prices is a real pain in the ass for most people naturally because we need those things. But you don't need a new laser rangefinder because you just want one. I think that's the difference.
I think you've put that perfectly well.